saw some disturbing images. Russia sending in these so-called heavy flamethrowers that are capable of shooting thermobaric rockets. Tell us about that. Our viewers, some of our viewers may not be aware of what that even is.
Yeah, that's an observation that we made today where we saw one of these multiple rocket launching systems, which the Russians call a flamethrower, called a TOS-1. Now that flamethrower actually, or rocket launcher, uses thermobaric, or weapons with thermobaric warheads, and essentially what that does is it sets the air on fire and then sucks the oxygen out of people's lungs. So it's definitely a very severe weapon. By the way, right now we have the Russian convoy coming past here. Those are fuel trucks that the Russians appear to be sending to the front lines right now. But that flamethrower is certainly a very dangerous weapon. It's certainly one that we were surprised to see. And it's a weapon there we can't say with certainty that it's been used in this conflict yet, but certainly it is a fact that it is around here and can be deployed at any time.
Do you think Vladimir Putin expected this level of resistance, and with Ukrainian citizens so united against him, taking up arms, ready to stay and fight, what do you think Putin's next move will be? I mean, we're seeing Zelensky, even declaring in this latest video that they've ruined Russia's plans. What are you watching for in the hours ahead?
Well, I think that Mr. Putin underestimated the challenge of Ukraine. I think he thought he could come in with a stiletto, take out a few weapons, the Ukrainian people would sort of collapse, there'd be a lot of disruption internally, and maybe all this spycraft would work. But that's not working. The Ukrainian army is fighting brilliantly. The Ukrainian people seem to be united on this. But the bulk of the Russian forces haven't yet engaged. They are closing in. The Russian military tactic is to use these forward detachments, operational maneuver groups, they're called. They're battalion tactical groups, tanks, infantry, engineers, artillery, air defense. And they spread out. They find the opposition, they fight against it. Sometimes they win, sometimes they penetrate. And that's what's going on right now. This is the very early stage of the battle. The mission is to close in on Kyiv and then besiege it. And then apparently Mr. Putin's given orders to clear it. So this is going to become very bloody and very violent in the days ahead unless we get support and assistance and get this fighting stopped. And I'm hoping the United States and our allies are going to push Javelin missiles and Stinger missiles into Kyiv right now, while there's a break. You know, Jim, these forces can't operate continuously 24 hours a day because somebody's got to sleep and they've got to be refueled and so forth. So you're going to see these pauses in the action from time to time. And right now is the time that we need to get the reinforcing supplies into Kyiv and into the Ukrainian defenders. The president said we're going to do it. I hear nations talking about it. It's got to get there. It's got to get there now. And in the meantime, we should be calling for a complete ceasefire and a halt to the Russian operations. They have no right to invade an independent country. And if take them to the UN. Look, this is the action of a war criminal, and he should be held to account on that basis. I believe the United States is looking at a number of options. I think there are some options. A lot of people are talking about a no-fly zone or some other safe zone. I'm recommending we look at things like this. I don't know. It's up to the Pentagon to give the president the plans on how to do it. But this is a significant moment in global strategy and history right now coming up. Not tonight.
Question. Yeah.
In the next few days.
No question. And I have to ask you about this video that we have that just came into CNN in recent hours. This video of Russia sending in these so-called flamethrowers that shoot these thermobaric rockets. You were talking about how bloody and violent things are going to get for Kyiv. I'm just wondering what your take is on that when you see that kind of equipment, that kind of firepower coming into Russia. It looks like Putin is going to unleash unholy hell on the Ukrainians.
Well, that would certainly be the intent. He would certainly use it if he has to. And that's why we've got to get the reinforcements of supplies into Ukraine. They've got to continue to keep the enemy away from the central urban areas. The range of that thing's about 6 kilometers. You can also expect heavy jamming, loss of communications, and a lot of other things as they close in on the fight here. So, yeah, this is a real challenge for the West and for our ideas of humane 21st century life. Mr. Putin's a throwback to an earlier era, and the globe, the world, has to unite to stop this.
And how desperate do you think Vladimir Putin might get here? If he gets so desperate, I mean, it appears that, as you were saying earlier, things are not going according to his plans. And if the Ukrainians continue to put up this sort of fight and slow the Russians down, frustrate them, frustrate Putin, what does a desperate Vladimir Putin do? What should the Ukrainians be preparing for?
I think he could do virtually anything. He probably has chemical weapons. Maybe he has nuclear weapons. He could do anything. But here's the thing, Jim. The Russian people know better than this. They don't want a war against Ukraine. And the Russian military know better than this. There'll be some of the military who are starting to say, what is this about? This wasn't what we were told. We can't go through with this. Why would we wipe out a city? Why do we want to kill these people? They're our brothers. So I think that, a combination of Ukrainian resistance and common sense within the Russian generals, they're going to stop this. There's a chance they could stop this. Putin is a dictator. He's got his security forces. He eliminates the opposition. But this is a time where we need Russian leadership to stop this man who wants to wreck another nation. It's just inhumane, and it's criminal, and it should be stopped.
Right. It seems like he's gone mad. He's just gone mad. General, we've learned that Germany will send 1,000 anti-tank defense weapons and 500 Stinger missiles to Ukraine. Is that going to be enough? What do you make of that? And I guess as the former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, I have to ask you, you must be awfully proud of how this alliance has come together and the way that it's standing up to Vladimir Putin right now.
I think the alliance is really coming together, really proud of them, and really proud of the administration and President Biden and his team for the leadership. The U.S. leadership is essential to bringing the alliance together, and we've got it. As for the reinforcements, look, 1,000, 500, send them in. Will it be enough? Probably not, because when you look at this is not like an accounting process. Some of them are going to get stopped before they get there. They'll be intercepted. Others will be wasted. Some will be deployed in the wrong place. Some missiles will miss. If you got 20, 40 tanks out of that, with those 1,000 missiles, you'd probably be doing well. So we know you have to really put the ordnance in to be able to stop an assault like this. And Jim, the key thing is, got to make the night has to become the Ukrainians' friends. They have to go out at night in small detachments. They have to take out these Russian forces when they're trying to refuel and rest and feed themselves. They've got to get away from Kyiv and push them back and keep them out there. Eventually, if they do that, then that's what provides the leverage for the Russian generals to fight it out with their boss. And we don't have to feel sorry for Mr. Putin. I mean, he's brought this on himself, and it's really up to us to provide the support we need to Ukraine, that they need to be able to make the stand they need to turn this around. But Absolutely. It is about American leadership ultimately.